Okay, Grandma's back, and here's the story I want to read you. It's called The King's Tea by Trina Hakes Noble. Oh, she's one of my favorite Michigan authors, and she even signed this book. Oh my goodness, look at that. It says, "Best wishes, Trina Hakes Noble," and she drew a heart, and there's a cup of tea that she drew. It's kind of hard to see because it's on red paper. I think she drew all the pictures in this book too. So Grandma is going to read it like she usually reads it if you're sitting in her lap, and then I'll show you the pictures. But here's the first page. Everybody's getting stuff ready for the king to have his tea. There's the steward. He's got the tray with everything on it, and the cook is getting things ready. She's pouring the tea into the pot. And the little girl's putting something on the tray for the king's tea. So, let's see. The king's tea had to be perfect, but sometimes things weren't just right. So each morning, the tea steward held his breath as the king took his first sip. There's the king waiting for his tea, and the steward is holding his breath, and there's the dog watching. Oh boy, that's a big table for just one person, isn't it? "Bah!" shouted the king. "This tea's not perfect. The milk is sour. Now my day is ruined, and it's all your fault." And with that, the king slammed down his cup and stomped out for a morning walk. Oh dear, the poor tea steward. The king says it's all your fault because the milk is sour. Oh dear. And there goes the king out for a walk out in the countryside. The tea steward picked up the pitcher of milk and hurried off to see the cook. "Cook, I told you to get me some sweet milk," scolded the steward. "Now the king's tea is ruined, and it's all your fault." Oh dear. Look at that. Now he's blaming the cook. Oh boy. The cook turned in a huff, shook a wooden spoon at the kitchen girl. "Girl, I've told you again and again to bring me sweet milk. Now the king's tea is ruined, and it's all your fault." And the poor girl quickly slipped out the door into the yard. There she goes. Oh, I wonder where she's going. Everybody's being told it's their fault. The king was not happy. Somebody has to be to blame, right? Well, there the girl met the farmer who delivered the milk to the castle each day. "Farmer, you have delivered sour milk and ruined the king's tea. Now the cook is angry with me, but it's all your fault." There's the girl talking to the farmer. Oh, goodness. Look at the village. Look at all the people. They've got boats. There's a windmill over here. Is it the farmer's fault that the milk is sour? Maybe. I don't know who's to blame. When the farmer got home, he went to the creamery to see his wife. "Wife," he said crossly, "you gave me sour milk this morning, and I delivered it to the castle. Now the king's tea is ruined, and it's all your fault." Oh, goodness, I like this picture. Look, there's a kitty up here lapping up some milk, and there's the farmer, and his wife is, I don't know what she's doing. Is she making cheese out of that cream? And there's their son drinking probably maybe some tea. I don't know what he's drinking. Now, let's see what happened next. The farmer's wife turned to the boy and seized him by the ear. Oh boy, Listen to me well. You brought me sour milk, which I gave to my husband who took it to the castle, and now the king's tea is ruined, and it's all your fault. Oh, gosh. You've got to see this picture. She's grabbing his ear, and look, all the milk is pouring out of his cup. Oh, dear. And look at the cat. The cat is at attention. What's all this yelling? What's going on? Well, the boy ran to the meadow to see the cow. You nasty old cow, said the boy. You gave me sour milk this morning, which I gave to the farmer's wife, who gave it to her husband, who took it to the castle. And now the king's tea is ruined, and you are to blame. Don't blame me, mooed the cow. Blame the yellow buttercups. They are not very sweet this spring. It's all their fault. Oh, no. Imagine, the boy is blaming the cow, and the cow said, it's not my fault. It's the buttercups, because they're not very sweet. And do you see what I see over on this page? Isn't that the king taking his walk? Do you think he heard that? Oh, boy. What's he gonna say? What's he gonna do? The king had gone to the meadow that morning, and he overheard everything the boy and the cow said. The king's tea? Sour milk? Oh my, said the king. So when the boy and the cow went to see the buttercups, the king decided to follow them. Buttercups, bellowed the cow, my milk is sour, and it's all your fault. The buttercups looked shriveled and dry. It's not their fault, said the boy. They need the gentle spring rain to make them sweet. Just then, a dark cloud in the sky overheard the boy. Everyone is always blaming the weather, rumbled the cloud. If rain is what they want, then rain is what they will get. Look at that big cloud over their heads. There's the cow and the boy. Oh, and look, the king is hiding behind the tree, listening. And there's his dog that went on a walk with him. Let's see what's gonna happen. The dark cloud moved over the buttercups, and soft raindrops fell. The buttercups soaked up the sweet rain, and the cow began to eat. It's not always the weather's fault, thundered the cloud as it rolled over the meadow. There it goes. Can you see the rain coming down? Rain on the buttercups by the cow, and rain over here. There's the boy. And, oh, what's the king doing? Is he picking buttercups? Look at that. He's leaning over the buttercups. Maybe he's checking to make sure they're sweet now. The cow ate and ate until she had eaten her way across the meadow to the spot where the king was picking buttercups. She was still hungry. I hope you don't mind if I eat that bouquet of buttercups you're holding, said the cow, who had never before seen a king. If I don't eat enough buttercups, my milk will not be sweet, and that would ruin the king's afternoon tea. Did you say afternoon tea? Asked the king. What a pleasant thought, said the king. Of course you may eat my bouquet. And the king's tea must be perfect. So he let the cow eat his bouquet and strolled off toward his castle. The cow doesn't know he's the king. It doesn't know that that's his tea that she's making milk for. But he's happy to give her his bouquet of flowers, isn't he? Later that day, the boy milked the cow and carried the milk to the creamery, and there the farmer's wife strained the milk and gave it to her husband, who delivered it to the castle. And then the kitchen girl carried the milk to the cook, who poured it into a pitcher. Oh, I guess we better look at this part first. The farmer's wife is straining it. Do you see the strainer? I wonder why she has to put it through a strainer. Maybe to get, I don't know what. And then the kitchen girl carried the milk to the cook, who poured it into a pitcher and gave it to the tea steward, who set it on the tray and carried it off to the table just in time for the king's tea. Or is that the king's afternoon tea? But the king didn't take his first sip right away. Instead, he invited the tea steward to tea. He invited the tea steward to sit and have tea with him. And the tea steward invited the cook, who invited the girl, who invited the farmer, who invited his wife, who invited the boy, who ran to the meadow and invited the cow. They're all invited to the king's tea. Oh my goodness. Look at everybody around the table. Oh, doesn't the king look happy? And everybody gets to share tea. Even the cow is there. They brought buttercups. The cow brought buttercups for everyone. And as they took their first sip, they agreed that the king's afternoon tea was delicious. Do you see all the buttercups? Look, buttercups on their hats and in their hair. Oh, and a ring of buttercups like a crown for the cow, and the cow's eating the buttercups. Oh, they agreed it was delicious. No, no, not delicious, said the king laughing. It's perfect. What a perfect tea. And that's the end of the story. That was kind of silly, but fun, wasn't it? Oh, and now you can see the king looking out over his village. Everybody's waving to him. Hello, king. You know, I bet the king was kind of lonely having tea all by himself in the morning. It's much nicer when you can share and have it with family and friends. So they had a fun time in the afternoon, didn't they? And the king learned, wow, where did the milk come from? He was blaming the steward, but he blamed the cook, and then the girl, and then the farmer, and then the wife, and then the boy, and then the cow, and then the buttercups. Oh goodness, it takes all of that to get sweet milk. And I know you like milk, Eleanor, don't you? Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story. Did you notice that Grandma has a new patch up here? Yep, Grandma had an operation, and that's where they did my surgery. It's healing nicely. In fact, it's almost better, and I feel really good today. So I'm going to have some more tea. Oh, goodness, it's time for some tea. Let's see if it's perfect. Ah, delicious. Love you, Eleanor. Bye-bye. Whoops.